Hello everyone, welcome to the first Worm Gang video of 2024. So in this video we're going to change the bedding in my worm bin. It's a French wormery, but same applies to any worm bin. So let's get started. So what I have here is a bucket, but you can use any tub or wheelbarrow. I have my core compost. I'm going to leave a £2.50 off link in the description box. This will treble its sides and become the bedding. This is a fork that I'll use to break up the bedding after water absorption. And then you need about 3 litres of water. This juice bottle from Morrison's is about 1.5. So all we're going to do, pop the core block in the bucket and pour in the water. You can use cold or warm water. Just need to make sure the block is completely covered, and then it will gradually absorb the water and then we can break it up. I haven't quite covered it, so I'm just gonna turn it around so it absorbs. And then what we need to do now is leave it for 24 hours. I'm long overdue with changing the bedding. Now what I need to do is make sure the worms come over to this side. I've been watching lots of videos and I want to give this method a go. So the first thing we need to do to attract the worms to this side is put fresh food here. So I'm just going to tear up some newspaper. Just going to lay some here. That's it. So I've got some lettuce. I've got some apple core, cucumber, and I've got some eggshells. Now what I'm going to do, I could use this scoop, but I'm going to use my hands at the moment. I'm going to bring the soil from this side across over the food. If you've got the French wormery, the only problem you're going to have is you've got to make sure you can get that tray to sit comfortably on top, so you can't pile it up too much. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave that as it is. I've got 24 hours for the bedding to soak, and hopefully by then all the worms would have come over this side, and then we can add bedding on that side and then start removing this. As you can see, all the water has been absorbed into the core. So what I'm going to do now is break it down. I thought I might need the little gardening fork, but it's breaking down easily. We need to just make sure every part of it is crumbled to resemble sort of a soil, really. And that small core block trebled in size, and I have all this wonderful bedding. So a week has passed. This is the new bedding which I'm going to add to half of the tray, but I'm not going to use all of it. I've got some fresh food, but I'm also going to move the old food over. I have some folded newspaper that I'm going to lay on the base, and then I'm going to scrunch this newspaper up to put the new fruit in. So as you can see, loads of the worms have moved over this side with the old bedding, but with the new food source. I left about 1 inch this side, so what I'm going to do now is just remove that. So this is the bin, or this is the tray from this angle. Okay, so as I said, all the worms have moved over here, and I'm just going to scoop this last lot of soil out here. So these holes here lead down into the liquid collection tray. So I'm going to add some newspaper here. It's several sheets folded. What I'm going to do next is add some fresh bedding. So I've got 1 large scoop. I'm just going to sprinkle that over. Second scoop. I've got some more newspaper. Just going to scrunch that up, make a little well. And then what I want to do is just look for that original food I put in last week, because I now need the worms to leave the old bedding and start moving across to the fresh bedding. So I'm just going to move these chunks across, and then I'm going to add fresh food. So there we go. And now I'm going to add another scoop of fresh bedding, just to hide the food. And then what I want the worms to do now is move from this side to this side where the fresh bedding is and the food is, and then I'll come back and I'll remove this. Now I know everyone has their different methods. This is what I'm going to try, and some people might comment and say that the bedding and the other trays, the soil is wet. I have kept everything in a shelter, but in England we've had a lot of damp weather, a lot of rain, and there's a lot of wet moisture in the air. And you know, I've got to order another core mat, but using plenty of newspaper and plenty of cardboard can help soak the moisture up, even if you're not feeding them over the winter period. So this is the new bedding, and I've got food here, and there are a few worms, but in the videos I see, the majority of the worms always seem to move over to where the new bedding is, apart from a few, and because of the light they've all burrowed down. But I do have, I feel, too many worms. And the other thing is, because I piled all the old bedding up this side, I couldn't fit the stacking tray equally and evenly, so I did have a few worms that escaped. I have they were here, so I have recovered those and popped them back in. So this is the old bedding, and I am just gonna fill this up and see where we are with it, because this hasn't gone according to plan, and it's not as easy as other videos show, and I've got lots of worms in there still, so it's a bit difficult doing it one-handed. So I'm going to continue emptying this side, and then I'll come back in just a moment. I've now emptied this side. So this side is the part of the new bedding, and this is the food I left to attract them, which I buried in the new bedding. So as you can see, several of the worms did find it. I've left a little bit of the old bedding here too, so it's not all new and they can settle quickly within their environment. And this here is what I've actually taken out of the bin. So as you can see, long overdue to be changed, and there will be worms in here too, which I do want to rescue. So I'm going to lay newspaper here, and then this food and new bedding here I'm going to bring over to this side, and then I'm going to fill up with the new bedding. Now the next thing I'm going to do is put the rest of the new bedding in. It's going to be a little dry, bear with me because it's difficult one-handed and filming. So I'm going to spread this around. So this is your core bedding, which you can buy in bricks. There's a £2.50 off offer in the description box, so please take advantage of that. I'm just going to add a sprinkle of the old bedding, some roots in here, so we'll get rid of those and mix that in. There we go. again with this, I do need it to dry out more, but I know that I've got some worms in here. Some of them will be pregnant, and then I am just going to have a look through and take those out. Bit of a long job, but I don't really want to lose any, and especially because I'm starting my cost of living worm bin this month. So again, the aim of my channel is not to show a green living channel with everything running totally right and smoothly. I'd rather show the good and the bad. So please follow and like this video, and please share it. Thanks for watching.